Thank you very much. I'm going to be very brief because we are already pretty late during the evening. Um, I think the way we have to look at it is it is not A versus B. We all the time look at A versus B. We look at as if all these things are people who are pro-patent or anti-patent. No, we are not supposed to be looking at it that way. We have to look at it how we will come to a situation globally in a win-win situation for all. And that's what negotiations are all about. That is what the WTO platform is all about. And if we look at the TRIPS agreement, I start from there. We look at the TRIPS agreement and look at those articles of the TRIPS agreement which help us to come together rather than fall apart. So we need to really look at, so I will spend a few minutes. First, I will quote Article 7. And if you look at Article 7, what is the object of Article 7? It sets out to have IPR as an enabler. I think Heinz has already talked about this right at the beginning, that IPR is an enabler. It is not a pro or anti situation. It says IPR is an enabler for what? For promotion of technological innovation and to transfer and dissemination of technology, right, to the mutual advantage. Very important, to mutual advantage. It is not A versus B, it is mutual advantage. So the important part is to the mutual advantage of whom? The producers and users of technological knowledge. Very important. Producers and users of technological knowledge. Now, how? In a manner conducive to social and economic welfare and to balance of rights and obligations. So if you read the Article 7, it sets out the spirit of the TRIPS agreement. And we have to look at it from that standpoint. So Article 7 is to be looked at holistically as an enabling clause or an enabling article. That's the first point. And therefore, in times, whether it is in times of pandemic or it is in otherwise, you have to look at TRIPS, the Article 7 as an enabler. That's the first part. Then I come to Article 8. What does Article 8 of the TRIPS agreement do, of the TRIPS do? Article 8 says addressing the needs to adopt measures. Please understand the word, very well crafted. Adopt measures necessary. Adopt measures necessary. Not just adopt measures necessary. To do what? To protect public health and nutrition and to promote what? Public interest in sectors of vital importance to the socio-economic and technological development. And if you look at it further, what does it say? Article 8 calls for appropriate measures provided, very important, that they are consistent with the provisions of this agreement may be needed to prevent the abuse of intellectual property rights by right holders to resort to practices which unreasonably restrain trade, or adversely affect the international transfer of technology. So if you take and read Article 7 and Article 8 together, it sets the platform for a discussion, a very healthy discussion, a very positive discussion on this particular subject. So I would think that IPR waiver, if you take this concept of IPR waiver, what is the concept of IPR waiver? IPR waiver, according to me, does not mean give everything free of cost. It does not mean give everything free of cost. It means, what it ought to mean? It ought to mean that you look at the whole thing as a trade-related IPR package, where you bring in technology transfer, you bring in knowledge, you bring in access, you bring in raw materials, you bring everything in. And therefore, I think rather than fighting with each other with tangential thoughts, we need to converge into some converging approach. And this is what Heinz and Professor Heinz Goddard and myself have been discussing over the last few weeks, that how do we converge? How do we come into a situation of a win-win situation of producers and people of the technological knowledge and society? So how do we come to a more humanitarian, a more humane, what I would say, interpretation of the TRIPS agreement in a very pragmatic form? So that's the first part which I want to make. Therefore, it's not a fight between haves and have-nots. It's a cooperation. How do we work together? That's the point number one. Point number two, very important. At this stage, we have to think creatively on how do we create different models of licensing arrangements. So we need to come up with very creative models of licensing arrangements. So it is not that I give you the full package. It's like a buffet. You come to a buffet and pick up what you want and pay for it. Okay? So you share. So how do you create those benefit sharing arrangements? And therefore, according to me, the IPR package, we should come with some propositions of that type. And we have some ideas about that as well. Come to the point number three, and that is my last point essentially. The point number three is that today there's a lot of misunderstanding of the technological knowledge and other bits. In fact, very interestingly, people say that people have not filed patents in India. They have filed patents in India. How many of us know that patents actually have been filed? Most of us don't know about it. Now, you may do any amount of patent search, but you don't get access to it. So one of the thoughts is, can we come with a concept that we come to an international body like WIPO, for example, something that Heinz and myself have been talking about, at the international level, that can we think of a body like WIPO, for example, to put together some sort of a database of all, just as we talk in terms of standard essential patents. We're not talking about standards. We are not here about standards. We're talking about essential patents in the area of COVID, vaccines, equipment, and all these type of related things. Can we put together a database of that type, which is accessible globally to anybody who wants to take access? Why? Because Article 7 tells me that Article 7 is for dissemination of knowledge, for sharing of knowledge, etc., etc. So taking advantage of that, and we create something like that. So we create a thing of all the not standard essential, but essential patterns. Now, once you create something like this, then we can create a model where when people access this knowledge and use this knowledge, and we then create a friend-like structure, right? A friend-like structure. Now, we need to think creatively. We have to think out of the box, not in a standard way. So can we come into a situation where when somebody uses that for the benefit of itself, to do something, to develop something further, or to go into production, or doing all that, what is the type of benefit sharing arrangements that we can come in, which is fair and non-discriminatory? So I think the time is right. The IPR waiver discussion, which is text-based, should bring these type of concepts on the table so that the global community can come together and actually share some of these thoughts, and then come onto the table and say, well, if we do it this way, A, we solve the problem that we are setting out to solve. We are doing it in a win-win situation, and we are creating a framework, not just for this pandemic, but for all pandemics of the future. So with these few words, I'd like to end my presentation and say that it is a time now to think outside a standard way of thinking. Think outside the box. Put our minds together constructively and not against each other. And then come forth and say that here, IPR waiver is an opportunity, right? It's not a threat to anybody. It's an opportunity. Let's come together and use this opportune moment to really do something positive. with this, I shall end. Thank you very much.